Hello, welcome back, or rather, welcome to the beginning of Let's Play Gothic. So, going through the manual first here. Now, this is a game that wasn't originally on my radar, but I had multiple people ask me to play it, and I didn't see any reason why not to in this particular case. So, we're gonna go ahead and try to play Gothic. But first, a reading from the manual because I think there is a little bit of lore stuck in the manual. Um, Let's see what we got here. Necromancer. I summon the shadows of the night. I command the powers of darkness, creatures born of magic. Fight at my bidding, soulless beings kill when I desire. Freedom is merely a sentiment, whereas willpower means true strength. Are you still eager to face these creatures and play their game of life and death, just for the sake of freedom? Alright. Maybe there isn't lore trapped in the manual. Most of this is just settings. Oh, there is some good tips here, which I've heard rumors of Piranha Bytes games, but at the start of the game, don't try to be adventurous. You're just not good enough yet to start fights with most of the creatures you will come across. It's a good idea to head for the old camp to get a feel for the game and the controls. The monsters will still be there when you get back, and maybe you'll have gained some more experience by then. If you meet people along the way, speak to them. Try not to equip your weapon unless it is absolutely necessary. It is always taken seriously. Death. If you die, you can load a save game, yada yada. Unconsciousness. You will find out during the game that you will run into a lot of problems if you go around killing people. Beat them up good and rob them and leave it at that. They'll have learned their lesson. If you lose a fight with another person, they will leave you unconscious. As long as he's not your sworn enemy, then he'll prefer to see you dead, as I'm sure you would feel the same way about him. If your enemy is lying unconscious in front of you and you have him in focus, press space to exit combat mode and look through his pockets with the control and arrow keys. Interesting. So they're implying that it's that you don't just kill everyone like a murder hobo. You're mostly just going to knock people out. Inventory controls weapons. 130 different weapon types. Short range needs strength, long range dexterity. Most powerful will be top. That's nice. Alright, same thing with armor, best one at the top. Magical documents, torches, artifacts. They will enhance your skills and talents. Food, some revive your energy, some your mana. Just pick up everything and read the description in your inventory to decide which you need. Potions, I'm assuming most of this is pretty standard. Alright, trading, magic needs mana. Mages of fire can be found in the old camp. It seems they have no authority at all in the camp, but they do have relatively powerful ranks. The fire mages have the use of all types of fire spells of the circle he has been taught. Mages of water, on the other side, are the mages of the circle of water who have joined forces with the new camp. They are obviously working on escape plans and therefore a dominant position. The water mages have the use of all kinds of water and chill spells. Mages Brotherhood. The sect believes in a supposed god they name the Sleeper. It is as yet unknown how they have access to their mana without praying to the regular gods. They do, however, have the use of powerful spells which affect the victim's state of mind. Well, that sounds a little Lovecraftian. Alright, Burning Arrow, Fireball, Stormfire, Fire Rain, Frozen Arrow, Ball Lightning, Lightning, Ice Block, Freeze Wave, Friend, Fear, Sleep, Berserk, Control, Gust of Wind, Storm, General Spells, Healing, Shrink Monster, Telekinesis, Transform, Teleport, Pyrokinesis, Destroy Undead. Shrink Monster sounds like it could be fun. Experience points. When you kill opponents or creatures and when you end a mission successfully, you will receive experience points. When you gather enough, you can level up, which gives you more energy and learning points. Learning points can be spent on skill trainers, or they can be used to increase your stats. Rules. Every camp has its own rules and regulations, but there are a few general points you should go by. The inhabitants of the camps have a daily routine and most of them sleep at night. If you need to talk to someone before you do anything else, but he's asleep, he won't let you disturb him. Just find a free hut and skip a while in the morning. He'll be doing his usual everyday stuff and you will also have full energy. Almost no one in the camps likes to be disturbed in their huts. If you want to speak to someone, call him from the doorway. He'll respond much friendlier. Keep out of people's belongings if you can't sneak. They'll almost always have something against it. If you equip your weapon, it is always taken seriously. Just friends will tolerate this action as long as you don't attack them if you really want to fight. Only equip your weapon if you really want to fight. Skills, strength, dexterity, mana, so pretty simple there. And they're pretty self-explanatory. Talents, one-handed weapons, two-handed weapons, bow, crossbow, opening locks, pickpocketing, sneaking, acrobatics, circles of magic. Alright, so pretty simple stuff, pretty routine stuff for an RPG, I think. The Who's Who, Old Camp, or Baron. They are the authority in the Old Camp and have fought long and hard for this position. Mages of Fire. They have the use of fire spells and can be found in the Old Camp. Your letter is for them. Guardists. These are the soldiers in the Old Camp. The ranks between them are very strict. Shadows. These are thieves and are absolutely loyal to the Old Camp. Gate Guard. They guard the gates against intruders of all kinds, be it in the old or new camps. Bridge Guard. They belong to the Old Camp and protect the Old Camp against creatures from the forest. Digger. They work in the Old Camp's mine, digging ore to trade with. New Camp. Mages of Water. The mages in the New Camp. Mercenary. They fight for the New Camp. Bandit. The thieves in the New Camp. You can find them everywhere within the barrier. Burrower. They work in the mines for the New Camp, collecting ore for the escape plan. Farmer. They can be found outside the camp. They sow and reap the rice for the inhabitants. Brotherhood. Guru. They are the spiritual leaders of the swamp camp and are dutifully trying to contact the sleeper. Novice. They can be found in the temple and are responsible for the prayers and daily routines. Templar. They are the soldiers of this camp and have magical powers. Beasts. Here are some of the creatures you will meet within the barrier. Fleischwanzer. These creatures are harmless vermin. Prepared correctly, some believe them to be edible and even tasty. Scavenger. They are large bird-like creatures that don't or won't fly. Their meat is edible and rich. They can kill even a large man if he is daft enough to let them. Mole rat. Large, fat, bald rats. They are pretty cowardly unless they are in a group or are disturbed while eating something particularly good. Goblin, also called gobbles, are crafty little creatures with more intelligence than it seems. They can be found wandering around between the camps looking for food. A fight is always welcome where they are concerned as long as they think they can win. If not, they would rather run away. They'll use one-handed weapons if they can find them, and they like to attack in groups. If they do, you should be prepared. They are very vicious. It is rumored that apart from the green goblins, there are also stronger, craftier black goblins somewhere within the barrier. Bloodfly. They are to be found near water and swamps. They are fast, and there are almost always more than one. Watch their sting. It kills. Wolf. Always in a pack, mostly nights. Think twice about walking in the woods in moonlight. Warren. Rather passive lizards, mostly found in a sunny spot. They are said to be carrion eaters, but apparently won't let a piece of fresh meat get away too quickly either. Rumors say the Foyer Warren are a mage's mishap. Apparently a certain mage cast a transformation spell while trying to raise some beast from the underworld. The obvious vileness of these creatures and their fiery breath suggests as much. Mine crawler. These are massive insects that live in the mines and the colony. There are workers and soldiers among their ranks. Somewhere deep below the ground, there is said to be a nest, which is a logical conclusion due to the masses of them in the mines. Many miners have been found, rather have been missed, as there has never been enough left behind to identify. Mine crawlers can also see extremely well in the dark. If you happen to find yourself alone in a dim tunnel with nothing but a pickaxe and a nearly burnt-out torch, either run as fast as you can or pray that the guards are near. Lurker. These slimy lizards are swift swimmers on land. They are only moderately slower. Their favorite prey are gobbles, but human meat is not unwelcome. Skeleton. They fight with a variety of close combat weapons and are particularly dangerous as arrows go right through them without doing any damage. Mages are said to be found in this form also. Story. Mirtana. In these times, the gods looked upon Mirtana with a kind heart and blessed all the land with peace, lavish crops, and an abundance of copper, bronze, and ore. Mirtana thrived in this blissful age until others received word of their fortune. The orcs made war upon the land of Mirtana. Endless raids and battles devastated the land throughout the next years, and as Mirtana's armies grew smaller and weaker, the orcs moved on. in greedy destruction. Eventually, no longer able to watch the mindless losses to his people, King Rokbar chose to take desperate measures. The barrier. In order to save his most precious mine in Corinus, where his people gathered magical ore and forged them into the strongest weapons in the land, King Rotbar called together 12 of the most talented mages of Mirtana. The bright winter sky grew gray and dark as thick black clouds obscured the sun. Lightning flashed across the sky, darting through a whirlwind of energy as the mages cast the spell using the Foki. A blue haze sheet drove across the mine, passing the boundaries of will, enclosing even the mages within its walls. And so it came to pass that fleeing from greed itself brought greed and thus tribulations upon King Rutbar, and he was forced to make deals with the prisoners to get at his ore. Throwing letters through the barrier was the only way the outside world was able to contact people within the colony. Those prisoners, who had always been the toughest among the miners, saw their chance and agreed to send all the ore they could to the king in exchange for goods from the outside world. Their leader was Gomez. They took over the old castle, killed the guards there, and so they created the old camp. The other prisoners rebelled against doing anything for the king or Gomez and traveled to another mine area, the Free Mine, and built there their own camp, the New Camp. Their leader was Lairs, and they lived from hunting, stealing, and farming rice. Among the prisoners in the old camp were some who talked of visions and strange dreams. They felt themselves misunderstood and different from the rest of the camp. So their leader, Yabarian, took them on a journey to find a place where they could dwell amongst themselves. Without explanation, he chose a swamp area and so created there a sect named the Brotherhood. The sect members also found that the strange plants that grew there in abundance increased their visions and that some had access to magical powers. They are able to sell these plants and magical scrolls to the rest of the colony and so traded to make a living. Of the 12 mages in the colony, there were 6 of the Circle of Fire and 6 of the Circle of Water. The Fire mages thought it important that the king should win the war, and so took it upon themselves to control the situation in the old camp. The Water mages thought it more important to find out what went wrong with the barrier and to find a way to breach the magical walls surrounding them. They decided to go to the new camp to control the ore from the free mine and were certain it would lead to freedom. And just another convict is thrown into the barrier. Alright, then we got credits, proprietary rights, no other rights, yada yada, yada yada. So it sounds like they're basically using this as a penal colony and everyone trapped. Originally the intent was to be able to have at least the people of this kingdom move in and out freely, but it sounds like it went wrong, so now anyone who was in there at the start, like the mages, is stuck there, and, well, new people can enter, it seems like. No one can leave, although materials can pass through both ways without any problems, and it sounds like we're going to be a prisoner who's cast into this penal colony, so kind of looking forward to this. Heard there's some jank too, and I always love me some jank, so we'll be doing that next time. So with that, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next time, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you then.